Arie Boomsma is father, entrepreneur, and expert in health and fitness. He works since the 90s as a host for a variety of Dutch TV shows. He's the host of the podcast About Routines, just launched actually. He's the author of several books. He's also the founder of Vondel Gym in Amsterdam, a gym, actually three locations, which transformed the health of thousands of people, where I actually used to kickbox. Arie writes about healthy lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, sleep, daily practices for good health, and most of all, creating habits for long-term health. So people in the Netherlands are familiar with his books. Fit, beweeg means move. Volhard, perseverance or persevere. And his newest book, 10,000 Steps,
Yeah.
is just published. Welcome, Arie.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here, actually. So my first question, what means perseverance for you?
To do what you set out to do, in the broadest sense of the word. So usually I write about health, about movement, sleep, nutrition. A lot of times people, of course, have goals and targets in those areas. But perseverance is also, I want to learn Spanish. I finally want to write that book. I want to stop drinking. I want to eat more vegetables. All of that is perseverance. How do you come to do what you set out to do, to keep your eyes on the target?
How do you come to do what you set out of the to do?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have written this book. It's called Full Heart. In English, it means perseverance or persevere.
Mm-hmm.
So when you set out to write this book, what was it for, and what were you trying to change in the lives of people by writing?
I actually, the book before this one was called Fit, and it was about small changes people can make in their lives to live a more healthier life. And it was a success. A lot of people liked it, and I liked it a lot to write about it. And but then I thought, okay, now we have this healthy lifestyle, but how do you maintain the healthy lifestyle? How do you persevere in it? And also, of course, because a lot of people every year again, they decide, okay, this year I'm gonna, and a lot of times people fail with that wish of that goal. And so I thought I want to write about what it takes to do what you set out to do, what it takes to set a goal and actually persevere in attaining the goal. And it was an exploration as well. I have a lot of knowledge about it, from just reading, from seeing, from experiencing. But I also wanted to explore in the book what are the elements that make up perseverance. What is discipline? Mm-hmm. What is rhythm? How do you do it when it comes to nutrition, movement? What are the anecdotes in my own life and my own experience that can help people persevere? So the book is actually really about that, the small things people can change in their lives to maintain vision on their goals.
Yeah. I have just finished the book actually, and what I really liked of it was the small daily things that you can change, remove, or add into your life in order to really persevere. That's what I liked of it. I have read many different books about mindset, habits, for example, Atomic Habits, which I
James
really
Clear.
enjoy. James Clear, yes. But what I liked of it, for example, you wrote down, like, if you want to exercise more, you can do it daily with the little things. If you go to the grocery store and you want to buy a detergent, and you can just squat down and get get it from the lowest part, and then maybe people laugh at you and you will squat again, and you actually exercise already. And you show that also in your Instagram posts.
Yeah. For me, it's like people a lot of times say I'm training. I'm going to go training. I'm training in the gym. but they forget to ask, why are you training? What are you training for?
Mm-hmm.
Athletes train for a certain performance or a certain game, a competition, Olympics, whatever. But we in our regular lives, we forget to ask that or answer that question. Why are you training? And I think if you look at your life, do I have a sitting job? Do I have kids and need a lot of energy? Do I want to get old healthy? Do I want to make sure that I don't have small little aches? There can be so many different reasons to train, and it's a good thing to view sports and training as something that really should support that kind of life. So what you do for a gym, for a club, for climbing, rowing, cycling, walking, it can be anything, but it needs to support the lifestyle you want. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. So I like to always, on Instagram or in books, give people all kinds of inspiration to get the movement in everyday life.
Yeah.
That sitting up from, if you sit and you stand up, it's a squat. If
Yeah.
you get up from your back, it's a Turkish get up. If you get up from your belly, it's a burpee. If you put something on the highest shelf, it's a press. If you push a person, it's a push up. To look at movement that way and to see in all of my life, there's so many opportunities to move and to park my car away from the door instead of as close as I can get to it. There's so much movement everywhere, and you need, it's fun also to look at life that way.
Is it also then again looking at a goal that you actually set out to do, and then around that goal forming a lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
which actually supports the goal?
Exactly. There's three things actually when it comes to goal setting that are always the same. Whether you want to learn Spanish, stop drinking, move more, eat healthier, it's always three things. There's the goal.
Yeah.
There needs something. You need something. What is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to change? Or something I want to aim towards. Then there's the habits. The habits need to focus on the goal, obviously. And then there's your surrounding, your environment. And in this environment, in your life, you need to make small changes that enable the habits focused on the goal. So there's environment, habits, goal. It's always the same thing.
Do you think many people actually set very broad, abstract goals? Like, for example, I want to be muscled, or I want to be skinny, or I want to be healthy. But yeah, how does that actually look like?
Yeah.
And then they actually kind of forget of the steps how to get there, or even get overwhelmed because they want that, but they have not thought about, okay, maybe I should should reduce the intake of the carbs, or I should do actually more exercise, I should just sell my car, for example. I don't know, these kind of things. What do you think about that? What that
Yeah. Okay. The reason a lot of times that people have goals and they forget about them, or they give up, is that it's a new priority in a life that's already filled with priorities.
Yeah.
So it needs to be pushed and shoved kind of in between all those other priorities. And if you don't change small things, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And a lot of times people set a huge goal, from never running to I want to run a marathon,
Yeah.
from eating meat 2 times a day to I'm going to go vegan. It's too big of a change. It's too drastic. So, Ariana Huffington from the lady that set up Huffington Post, and now she has Thrive, and she writes beautiful books. She has this method that the steps towards that goal need to be too small to fail. And I love that you break down what you want to do and make the steps so small that you can't fail. And there, for me, around the corner comes the whole thing about motivation versus habits. So a lot of times people wait for motivation. I want to be inspired. I want to feel it before I can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Motivation comes and it goes. It's not always there. So it's safer to build habits and to make habits small. For instance, if you say I want to go run every day before work,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's a goal. But then you need to make the habits. You need to go to bed kind of early, maybe not drink at night. You need to set an alarm. Maybe you should put your alarm out of reach so you can't snooze. Maybe
Indeed.
you should put your running clothing already on the chair so you don't
Yeah.
have to look for it in the morning. Or maybe you should even sleep in your running
Yeah.
clothing. You want to make the obstacles small
Mm.
and accessible, or make the goal accessible.
Yeah. For example, during Corona, I run a lot, and I'm very easily cold. But what I did in winter days, I put my running shoes on the heater at night. So like when I went into my running shoes, I knew like it's hot, it's warm, and I can just go in the freezing cold. Like that was one of
Awesome.
the preparations
Yeah,
I
it's
did.
wonderful. But that's a perfect example from changing small things in your environment. So you
Yeah.
change some habits because you wanted to do it every day, or you want to do it a lot. So that's a habit. Huh?
Hmm.
And then you change small things in your environment, like this one, because if my shoes are cold and I'm cold, it's a huge obstacle. I need to take that
Yeah.
obstacle away and make the goal accessible.
So
It's beautiful, beautiful example.
you were also writing in your book about habits stacking, and actually James Clear also write about that, like add a new habit to a current habit that you're already having. how
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
does that look like? Can you give examples of that?
Yeah. So, for instance, somebody says, "Oh man, I'm too busy to go to the gym, and I don't find space to exercise." And sometimes it's easier to build those new habits and kind of glue them to things you already do. For instance, you brush your teeth every day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can brush your teeth sitting against the wall. It's a great exercise for your quads, for your legs.
Ah,
Or um, I have to go to the printer at my job 7 or 8 times a day. You know what? I'll put the printer not in my workspace, but in another room or another story. So I have to move a little bit for something that I do every day. Or I eat lunch every day. You know what? From now on, every day, right after my lunch, I go walk for 20 minutes every day. Or I walk into the office of my colleague and she has this big jar of candy there, and I take a
mhm.
candy every day. From now on, if I walk into that office, after that, I will go walk the stairs
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So that's kind of gluing new habits, healthy habits to things you already do and that are already set. It kind of helps because the other ones are rooted already in your life. You glue it on there, and it makes it easier to maintain.
Yes, and what you also see often, like that people want to change everything all at once, and then they do it maybe 1 week, 2 week, or 3 weeks, and then it's like, okay, go
Yeah,
back to normal or to the
yeah,
routine
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
already there.
Yeah, because it's the routines that, that's the thing about priorities. There are already so many priorities in our lives. If you can really want something, but if you don't make space for it in your life, if you don't put it in the agenda, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a very, very good thing because I actually have two calendars, one calendar for work, and I have also another calendar for private things.
Yeah,
And I put there every Sunday my weekly schedule in there. So I know I will go on Monday for that run, or Wednesday for that run, and all. And I even write down how many Ks. And it was not like that in the beginning. First, it started with running Monday, running Wednesday, running Friday, running Saturday. And then it was I found out like my body is better during the weekend. So I did my long runs then, and I did my fast runs on Monday.
beautiful.
It was a
Yeah,
start. And Wednesday it was like, I don't want actually, but I can do the 3K, for
yeah,
example.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
there was, I actually learned a lot at the Fondle gym from Marvin, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
There's also the kickboxer guy, Marvin.
yeah.
Yes.
Marvin looks like a Viking.
Yeah, he does. He does, definitely. So, about the goal setting, I also want to ask the question, is having goals or trying to achieve your goals, is there a fine line between achieving your goals and compulsive behavior? because I can also imagine myself. I have a goal. Sometimes I'm so determined to get that goal. And while I'm going there, sometimes I'm like, it didn't happen and I want to go there. I just like, this is not healthy. Just stop. And then I just get rid
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
goal.
yeah. Really, really quick in between. Is it henna on your hands?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Ah,
It is. I
wow.
my mom is from a Turkish village in a very small village from Turkey, and they do it during Ramadan. So she did it.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, but that's true. The difference I think is with when things become obsessive or compulsive, um, you start to suffer, and people around you start to suffer. It's like addiction. People say, "Yeah, sports is a healthy addiction." No, the word addiction is negative. It's people around you suffer from it. It becomes if compulsive is a negative element, I think. So if you have it also in health, a lot of times people use terms like "I have to," or "I can't," or "I mustn't," or "I may not." It's very strict and it's very negative, and I think
Mhm.
it's important to keep things positive. I can. Uh, I get the opportunity to. Uh, and when it comes to habits, I think it's easier to do stuff daily
Mhm.
than sometimes, or than Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or it's easier to do stuff daily.
Mhm.
And and also because once it's set, it doesn't have to be compulsive because the rest of your calendar and the rest of your agenda works around it because it's already there.
Yeah.
It's like an anchor that's set in the agenda already. And I think you feel the difference when it becomes compulsive. It becomes something I have to, and otherwise I feel bad about myself.
Yeah.
It's a negative emotion.
Yeah.
And but when it's a habit, it's a healthy habit. It gives you, it makes you positive. It makes you resilient. It makes you strong. It makes you optimistic, and it's like wind in the sails. It's positive momentum. But you can really feel the difference. And I think everybody knows you can try to numb it and try to push it away, but
Mhm.
you feel the difference between obsession and a healthy habit.
So let's say you set a goal and you start with fun, joy, you love it a lot, and then there comes a point that you feel that obsession, like I have to go for this run, or I should go. Where did it go wrong? Is the goal too big, or what changed in between you being positive joy and then being there at a moment that you're like, no, I have to do it. I find myself sometimes in these things, not only with sports but also other life
Yeah, yeah,
goals, that you're
yeah,
having. You start with super nice feeling, and then after a while it comes like, I actually don't want it, but I have to do it. I have to do it.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what happens
Yeah.
there? What do you think?
I think the fact that you feel like you work with a checklist, and the checklist itself, maybe it's comparable to wanting your email box, your inbox to be empty. Um, the thing of being empty becomes the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, that's not really what it's about. The inbox having empty is not important at all,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have the attention for emails. You just want them out of there. And I think with health, it's the same thing. It can be a checklist thing. If I have to do this every day, I have to do that every day, and we forget to ask why. Why do I have to do it? Why is it my goal to run 3 days a week? What
Yeah.
do I want to get from it? Um, and if the answer is I just want to check it off, I just want to check it off my list, that's a negative thing, and it becomes compulsive. But if you say no, I wanted to have more energy, I wanted to be more positive. Am I more positive right now? No. Well, maybe I need to adjust. And so
I
I think
love
it's
that.
really,
I
really important to check your emotions, and it
Mhm.
can help to have a diary,
Mhm.
daily notes,
Mhm.
and to write down with pen. You can have a digital one too, of course, but to note down the way you feel about exercising, the way you feel about eating, the way you feel about your sleep, about the components that make health. Or if you have certain business goals, it can be about meetings, it can be about targets. how do I feel about it? How do I feel today? It's so important to keep checking that, because then you know I'm on the positive side, or I went running, didn't feel good after.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to ask the question, why? Why is that? I didn't sleep well. Okay, that might be it. Or it becomes compulsive. Okay, I need to change something.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go walking for a while instead of running, or, but to check in with yourself, how do I feel today? How do I feel after doing this? How did I feel before? That's very relevant.
Yes. In addition to that, a very good friend of mine said, like, the goal what you're having is also so important, how it makes you feel. Like, if you have a goal of like, hey, I want to look this body type, that's another goal. Then if I am a healthy person, I want to contribute to the world in a better
Yeah, yeah,
way. That's
yeah,
such a broader goal that you think like, if I go for the run, I am a better contributor, or I am a good contributor. And
yeah,
it doesn't mean you're not a good contributor if you don't go, but you do it for that. it's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
such a
yeah.
it makes such a
Huge
difference.
difference.
Yeah.
And I think external goals, like the way you look, I want to have a six pack, I want to have a bikini body, I want to be able to wear this. They're superficial goals, and they're kind of an illusion. Sometimes we think if I look like that, I'm happy. And it's never that way. It's never good enough. When you look like that, you think, oh, maybe this, or maybe that, or maybe I should change this, or it can be a little better there. Or um, so those are usually not very good goals. I like to see the way you look. So the outside is more of a consequence than a goal. So if I have muscles to show, it's a consequence of how I train and live. It's not my goal to look like
Hmm.
that. My goal is to have energy, to be positive, to not be sick, to keep up with my children, to
Yes.
learn new things. Those are the things I want to get from sports. And the
Yeah.
result, the consequence, is that I look a certain way. But when that becomes the goal, it's hard to measure. It's hard to measure. I start today. I want to have a six pack, and in 2 months I'm gonna check in and how am I doing? I don't know. So goals are good if they can be measured. They're good if they're positive. They're good if
Hmm.
they're not about appearance
Yeah.
usually. Yeah,
So you write in your book, Full Heart, Perseverance. Do I translated that right? Actually, is that
yeah,
what you meant?
yeah.
Okay.
It's an old-fashioned word in Dutch, actually, vol hard, and it means to persevere. Yeah, it's
Mm,
yeah, volharding,
Volharding.
perseverance.
Yeah. So you wrote down, you won't get self-worth and confidence out of perfection, but you get it by accepting imperfection.
Yeah,
Can you explain that?
yeah. I think, see, a lot of times when it comes to the health genre, the health industry, it's an industry where the way you look is a huge indicator. So a lot of people are especially um, occupied with the way they look,
Yeah.
and the way they compare themselves to others. And but it doesn't make you happier, of course. There are too many examples of people that once they do have that six pack, and once they do have that perfect shape for a bikini, they're not happy, because happiness comes from something else. Happiness comes from sharing, from connecting to people, from yeah, doing stuff together, from learning new things, from it's a completely different arena. And I think when it comes to the way we look at ourselves, it's so important to accept who you are, how you are, to learn to love yourself apart from the way you look. So this is me. I'm satisfied with me. I love me. It even sounds weird because we're scared to say it.
Yeah.
And 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 the way you look has nothing to do with that. Nothing.
So I hear some of the Dutch listeners, they might say like, hey, Arie Boomsma is saying this, but in the society, Dutch society, he is known as one of the most handsome guys. So it's easy to say it for Arie Boomsma. Um,
Yeah.
did you ever feel maybe years ago that you were looking up to other guys, other people, like, hey, I am not good looking, or I need to get more muscles, I need to train for this? Or was this always like that you felt like my happiness does not come from how I look?
No, I think, when puberty hits and your body starts changing, and I looked at movies like Rambo and Rocky
Yeah, Rocky.
and Ivan Drago in Rocky, and I thought, oh, okay, when my body starts changing, I can be muscular and I can be big and it's manly, and so when you're a kid, of course, that's important. And when you start training and you start wearing tight shirts to emphasize muscle and vascularity, and so yeah, it sounds harsh to call it childish, but I think it's a natural process that you need to go through.
Hmm.
And even later in life, when I I was on the cover of Men's Health five
Hmm.
times, and every time I trained for it because I wanted to look a certain way. Because even though I have all this experience about it, I still get tempted to emphasize on the outside for something like that. It's a bit of vanity as well,
Hmm.
and still today, I can look at a certain body of an athlete and think, wow, you know. So it's always there, and I think the key is to not let it get you down, and not be in competition with other people, and not think that a certain body type can make you happier or can change the way you feel about yourself. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, for me, I've also known those sides, and of course, other people can say, "Ah, you look good," and as a kid, you can still doubt that. You can still say, "Oh man, I have such a long neck," or "Oh man, my
Yeah.
my ears are flapping," or it's. I know some people that are absolutely gorgeous on the outside and that are very insecure and very unhappy. So it yeah, it's always other people's opinions about you that they can say, yeah, it's easy for him to talk about that, but
Yeah.
it's never like that. It's never. No.
Yeah. Okay, about discipline.
Yeah.
You say discipline is the art of focus your attention on things you want to see growing.
Yeah.
What does discipline mean to you?
I think it's something you can organize, first of all. So it doesn't have to be a character thing. I think discipline is completely bound to environment. For example, we always talk about Marines or commandos in the morning, 4:30, running through the woods, doing push-ups, very disciplined. Um, but when they go on leave to their wife and children, they
Hmm.
don't get up at 4:30 in the morning. So their discipline is set to that environment.
Yeah.
What we've all noticed during COVID, when we can't go to the gym, it's hard to keep moving because we're used to stepping in certain environment where the discipline is easier because there's a lot of people there doing the same thing, and there are trainers there to motivate you, and and there's a doorway that you step into, and your body knows, your head knows, okay, when I step into here, I'm going to do this. So it's all environment. So discipline and environment are intertwined, and that's one thing. And I think discipline can be a character thing, but I don't think we should expect too much from things like discipline and motivation. It's just better to build habits and to try to set things in stone in your life, and instead of expecting, oh, I have discipline, so I can do this.
Yeah. Do you train discipline? Is it trainable?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And the thing is, a lot of times we have discipline in certain areas of our life, and we miss it in others. I was when I was promoting this book at a radio show in the morning on Dutch radio, uh, and they said, yeah, because we want to train, but we don't have the discipline, and we always give up. And I said, okay, wait, we're in the morning show. You start at 5 in the morning every day. How many years have you done this? Wow, 2.5. And has anybody ever been late? No, no, nobody's ever been late.
Yeah.
So I say, okay. So you get up every day at 4 to start the show at 5. Nobody's ever been late. That's discipline. So you have it already. So you know how it works. And now it's a challenge to translate it to other areas of your life.
Mm.
And the things they could learn is they have certain habits. They set their alarm. They have an environment that they work into. They step into the studio like a gym. They do stuff together. That's important. They share stuff. They love their work. It's all elements that you can learn from and use in other areas of your life. But we usually have discipline, for instance, in our work.
So
And then it's a, yeah,
the
yeah,
first step will be then recognizing the discipline you're having in areas in your life.
yeah. And also um, kind of exploring what works for me. So why is it that I'm never late at work?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that I never miss an appointment if I have a date with friends? Why is it that I'm, so there, what is it that works for me? And that's always translatable to the rest of your life.
Yeah. And sometimes, I also think the more discipline you train, it becomes a routine.
Yeah.
And then, all of a sudden you already do it. My mom, she grew up in this village. She was on a farm and she woke up every morning with the azan when it was dark, in Turkey. It was 5:30. She doesn't even know, what time it was. When the azan went on, and then she woke up and she cleaned the yards, and then she started preparing breakfast for everyone, and also prepared lunch boxes for people that would
Wow.
go to the lands.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nowadays, she doesn't work. My mom never actually worked. She worked a lot as a mom. By the way,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not a full-time job, really. But she never
Heavy
worked
stuff.
somewhere else than the house. And she still wakes up 5:36 every
Yeah.
single day without an alarm.
Used to it. Oh man. Yeah. I love it.
So she
Yeah.
started as a discipline. She had to do it because,
Yeah.
people were waiting for breakfast, lunch boxes. And now it just became a habit. She's 60 and she does it for maybe, I think, for sure for 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful. But that's exactly how it works. We don't think about brushing our teeth every day. We don't think about taking a shower. We don't think about the way we tie our shoelaces. It's all set. And we've had a lifetime of adjusting to it and building it into our habits.
Yeah.
And so the hard thing, of course, is to make new habits get to that point. That's of course the challenge. And the thing is, it sounds simple if you say just start doing it, but it really is that way. It's you don't wait until the situation is perfectly okay for it.
Yeah.
You don't wait. You don't have to get in shape before you go to a gym. You just go. Like, you had Seth Godin on this podcast, and he
Yeah.
always says, just get it out there.
Yeah.
Just ship
Just
it.
get it.
Just ship
Ship
it.
it. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's the same thing with everything. You just start today, but you do have to make certain adjustments in your lifetime. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for the right shoes. Don't
Mm.
wait for the right environment. Don't wait for the right shape. Don't wait for the right conditions. Start today. But you have to make certain adjustments in your life if you want to persevere in doing it.
Yeah.
But you can start today.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Seth Godin also said, like, you will start making a podcast 1 year later. You will listen to the first episode. You will say, like, was it me? Was it me? And then,
Yeah.
you are, I think, on the Dutch TV shows for the past 20 years, maybe even longer. Even
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
longer. I think
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
was a child, I was watching. I think so. I'm not fully sure.
98 for the first time. Yeah.
But
So it's more than 20 years. Yeah.
when you also you started also somewhere, and if you would maybe listen back, do you laugh at yourself sometimes, or like, hey, oh, it was
Yeah.
me?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what it is? There's a process there as well that when you start something, you usually copy what you think other people are doing well.
Yeah.
So I was looking at people around me on the radio and on TV, and I was copying the way they spoke, and they had this radio voice, and it was all very spectacular, and I was mimicking.
Yeah.
And at one point you feel, okay, I'm kind of adjusted in this new environment. Now I can find my own signature. This is
Right.
who I am. And a lot of people don't ever get there, and they keep doing what's adjusted. And when people meet them in real life, they're like, oh, you're a completely different person. So the biggest compliment you can get when you work in media, if people say, oh, you're just like you're on TV. But in all processes, it's the same way. When you start writing, you think, oh, I have to write like this because that's what I like to read. Or when I make art like the artists I love. Or when I think of campaigns in marketing, I make campaigns like the people I admire. And at one point, there's a feeling. Okay, what do I think? What do I feel? What do I like? What do I think is important? What is my road? What is my path? And that's an important point, and it's very worthwhile to keep looking and keep aiming for that point, and searching for it, because it's such an important thing to feel like things are right. You know, this is me, this is my tone of voice, this is
Yeah.
my way of doing it.
And actually, along the way, especially at the start, there are so many people you can look at and try to see like how do they do it. Maybe you copy once, twice, the three
Yeah,
times, and then
yeah,
along the way you find your voice, whatever that
yeah,
voice is. It is you. It is Arie's voice, Özlem's voice,
yeah,
anyone else's
exactly,
voice.
exactly.
About priorities, Arie. So you mentioned that being busy can tell us that we might not be good at prioritizing things in our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah,
So it is a little bit connected to the goal setting part. I give you an example from my own experience. Like with my training, I'm super prioritized. I can cancel anything. I need to go to training. I
yeah,
will meet later on because first I need to train. Or now fasting.
nice.
Let's say the Ramadan.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't for 1 month I don't train. So everything I don't meet for dinners or walks, maybe walk in the morning because I'm on Ramadan. But on some other parts, especially the email box needs to be empty. And then you're so long busy with email or other things that you are actually not you did not prioritize. So how can we prioritize our lives in a way that we feel we are living a fulfilled life and the goals we have set out there are reachable and achievable?
I think it starts with being aware of how much we do on other people's agendas. So the mailbox, you're saying, people can just be uninvited into your life, and make you spend time with them
Yeah,
actually by sending you an email.
right.
That's one thing. WhatsApp is same thing. It's a lot of times people ask us, okay, can you help me do this? Can you be there? Can you do this? A lot of times we're spending our time on other people's agendas. So if you don't prioritize what's important to you, and put in your agenda what you want to do on self-development, or what you want to do to work towards a certain goal, or to work towards a certain dream, or ambition. If you don't put that in your agenda, it's the entire time is going to be eaten up by other things that are possible to be done. And for me, that was one of the most important things, to put training into my agenda. It's
Yeah,
there every day. It's there. It cannot be washed away. It's there. But also, I want to put in my agenda time to read every day, or to meditate, or breathe, and there are certain things that I just need for self-development, to read, to do research, to view things people are making, to work on self-development. And so to prioritize those things first, and then see how much time is left over for all the other stuff. So for instance, email, I think for most of us that are somewhat overwhelmed by how much mail there always is,
yeah,
it's very worthwhile to think about an auto reply where you say, okay, I'm working on this and I'm working on this. So it might be a while before you get an answer, or you can even try to answer in the auto reply and say, I'm not taking any other jobs right now, or I'm not planning, or it's Ramadan, so I don't do any appointments, and I don't do this and this and this. Sorry for not replying, but it's not personal. You know, there can be an auto reply on your mail, and it can save you so much time. And that's one example of prioritizing. It sounds a bit egocentric, but you need to prioritize the things that are important to you first before you give all your time to other people, because they will take it. For one example, when my daughter was born, I had planned 2 entire months free time. But the day my wife was in labor, I got a voice message from one of the producers I was working with saying, "Hey, can you do a voiceover? It can be on your phone. We need it by 6." And I thought, okay, that was for me. It's such a clear, during labor this happened. So it was such a clear example of nobody else is going to be guard of my time. If I'm not guard of my time myself, nobody else is going to be it. And it sounds egocentric, but it's very important to prioritize things you want to do.
I actually don't really think it's egocentric at all, because by prioritizing your time, you get a better version of yourself, whatever that is. You know, when you spend time with your family, with your wife, with writing a book, with doing research, with doing self-development, and then via that you contribute better to the whole world, actually.
True.
If you look at it this way, do you also think we should plan in our calendars some spontaneous moments? Like, because, you know, I love to wander, just walk around, talk to people. That's really my Mediterranean side. And sometimes I really plan it on Sunday, like nothing. And then things will pop up. You just go outside, you meet people or not. Or you just look at the buildings, you walk in the nature. Is that also something plannable, or should we do that?
Yeah, actually, I think if you set the other things in stone, there's a certain rhythm in your days that really gives you a lot of space to do other things. It's the feeling of being overwhelmed is usually because the things are not set in your agenda. And in your head, it's like, oh, I got to train. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to answer that mail. And it's all cloudy in your head because there's so many things you need to do. But if you see them in a list and in an agenda, it actually opens up. And if you know, okay, I'm working out every day, only half an hour, but it's every day. Okay, that's set. That's gone. It's not space in my head anymore.
Right.
And then if I know this and I have all these things set, then I know, oh, okay, every day there's like 2 hours to just wander around, drink coffee, meet friends. And it actually, a set rhythm opens up a lot of time. And a lot of times people are afraid of rhythm and routine because they think, there's no room for impulse actions or impulsivity. But think of it as traveling to work. From your house to your work, it's the same thing. It's the house, it's the work every day.
The video is gone.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Somebody called me. From your house to your work, it's the same every day, but you can take a great variety of routes. You can go, oh man, people are trying to call me. Sorry, I don't know.
This is what's happening. This is what's happening.
Exactly. They claim our time. It's an illustration. I planned it this way. Call me at that time so I can illustrate what I was saying. No, but it's the same route every day, but you can take it all kinds of different ways. And that's what rhythm is. It's the same thing every day, but there's a lot of different ways to fill in the days around it. And that's what I like about rhythm and structure.
Rhythm and structure. I would also say Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek, he talks about it. Like many people think 4-hour work, he actually plans everything in the 4 hours. So he has time left to do research, to do spontaneous things, to work on other side projects.
Yeah. It's actually, I the question people say, how you doing? And they say busy. Oh man, I'm busy. And they think that's a positive thing.
Mm.
And one thing we can learn from the 4-hour work week from Tim Ferriss is that it's actually more of a positive thing if they say, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm working a few hours every day, and I'm working hard. I'm ambitious, but I do have a lot of time to do stuff that I think are important too. That's a
Yeah.
much better answer, actually.
Yeah. If we would actually leave our phones a little bit behind, maybe we get more work to do. But I think
Yeah,
many people, including myself, sometimes that phone during night, really putting it in another room, everyone knows it. Everyone knows screen
yeah,
time is bad for you or it disturbs your sleeping rhythm.
yeah.
But we still do it.
But you know
Um,
what can help? To buy an alarm clock, and not the old-fashioned, not that one, but a more subtle one, a nice
yeah,
alarm clock in
yeah,
your bedroom, so you don't need your phone to know what time it is or to have an alarm set. That way, you can leave your phone in the living room or in the bathroom, and then you still know what time it is if you need to get up. But you don't need the phone in your bedroom. Don't go to bed with your phone.
yes. Or take off the cable of the Wi-Fi. So you
Yeah,
don't, there's no internet. You
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
go
yeah,
on
yeah,
internet.
yeah, yeah.
So, Arie, you have studied 6 years in the US. You studied psychology and communications, and then after you came back, you started your career in the Netherlands. And um, we learn a lot from you around health, exercise, and many actually other things. I still love your TV show Over the Strape. It really
Oh yeah.
touched my heart a lot. I was teaching that time in Istanbul at the international school and I watched it. It's amazing. I loved it so much. But do
Thank
you
you.
have plans to go international, or did you already go international? Like, what I hear this from you, and I read a lot of books from American authors a lot because they really inspire me. And also because I lived 7 years abroad and I was used to reading in English, so these books came to my hands. Again, the environment, my environment was when I
Yeah,
went to the library, the books were in English or in Turkish or Danish and in English, so I took the English one, and these were American authors. But I would love to see you actually also at I don't know, any other American, British, or any other in other countries. Do you have plans towards that?
I don't actually.
Oh,
No,
really?
I love reading American books about these subjects as well, and listening to podcasts about these subjects. And but I don't. For me, the Dutch market is so vast and so big and so much to be explored yet that I am perfectly fine, but just aiming to that audience, and to have gyms in the Netherlands. And I would like to have more gyms because I think we have a beautiful concept with Vandal Gym, and so we're building with that, of course, and there's room to expand with the books. If a book does really well, like my best sold book, was like 80 or 85,000 copies. That's a lot in the Netherlands, but there are 17 million people here, so there's so much more room to reach more people here. And also, I kind of want to, in my ambitions, um, I want to always feel like I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm challenged enough, and I'm satisfied with what I'm doing, and I don't want it to be about more, bigger, bigger audiences worldwide. I love it when people are ambitious like that, and
Hmm.
I am very ambitious, but I want to guard myself for wanting too big, too fast, too much, and there's much more to be done in this country for me.
Mm, nice. So where can people find you? The Dutch people, but also my audience that is from other countries.
I have Instagram. It's Arie Boomsma Instagram.
I put it in the episode notes.
Yeah, do that because Arie Boomsma Instagram. Yeah. That's the main one. I have a website, but it's in Dutch. It's arieboomsma.nl. So those are the two things, and my books are not translated in other language yet.
Yet.
No, it's like I said, it's not an ambition to go abroad. So I hope, if people are listening from other countries, I think you mentioned some books like James Clear with Atomic Habits. It's a beautiful book. Angela Duckworth with Grit is a beautiful book. The work by Seth Godin that I know you are familiar with. There are so many podcasts and things in this genre that are beautiful to listen to and inspiring, that I hope they can dig those up as well.
Yeah.
And that
Cool.
they've enjoyed our conversation about it.
Yeah, I did enjoy a lot. Thank you
Me
so
too.
much,
Me too.
Arie. I loved it. Thanks for
Me
making the
too.
time.
Thank you and have fun.
Ja,
Go ship it.
dankjewel.
Go ship it.
Thank you.